Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Darth Tyrax Presents. I am Darth Tyrax. It has been a while, about a year, since I've put a new episode out. But this is going to be a bit of a special episode because I got an early birthday present from my son. It's actually about a month early because that's when it was supposed to come out. However, let's not waste any more time and we'll get right into it. So what he got me was the classified G.I. Joe Stinger from Hasbro. Now, they did this in the old original toy line at 3 3/4 scale. This is at 6-inch scale, or also known as 1/12 scale. Now, this is definitely one of the vehicles I always wanted as a kid, so it's actually really cool. Can fit a couple of figures inside and a couple on the back rung behind the missile launcher, and it really is a really neat update to the original. But let's not waste too much time. We'll get right into this. Because yes, I'm an opener, so I will be opening this. So trusty little box cutter / knife. We'll make sure all the tape is cut through so we can get her open nice and cleanly. But yeah, this is a line of figures I've been collecting for a while. Actually, I think my first video was doing Cobra Commander, or was that my second? I can't remember. It was one of the early videos I did. Unboxing the Cobra Commander figure earlier on in the line. I've collected many since, and I may do another unboxing of one of those, even though I've already opened it. So first thing we'll do is we'll get this open, and everything is nice and neat inside, as you can see. Everything has its spot. So first thing we'll do is we'll take a look at the figure here. Not everything's in his tray. There is a knife, but as you can see, 6-inch scale, nice detail, nice update to the basic design of the same figure from 40 years ago. Has a knife. Web gear's pretty cool. I'll pop him out in a little bit, but we'll get the rest of this out here. Excuse me. Everything is nicely just packed away in here by the looks of it. So let's get some stuff out. So here's a bag with some parts. Looks like the character's weapons. So that's nicely put aside. And then I'm going to guess this may be some more parts or some missiles or something. We'll get to that eventually. Let's see if we can get some of this other stuff out of the way here. Let's lift this right out. There we go. Now this is going to be one of the few boxes that I've opened up that I think I'm going to keep because it may actually work for display purposes as well, but we'll have to see. Because there's the actual missile launcher, so that's pretty cool. Let's put that aside for the moment. But here's the inside of the box. So it's actually set up, you could probably almost do it with a display type setup. We're going to have to get those tires out, so that actually slips out pretty nicely. So we'll need our trusty dusty knife again here to cut through some of this tape without wrecking the cardboard, and to get those boxes with the tires out of there. So there's and some other people have already unboxed this. I'm just doing this more for me, along with putting it together. Because again, I am an opener anyway, and it won't be going back in the box, but I may again use this part of the box as a display piece because it's got the nice Cobra logo in the back there. But most of the stuff they've done for classified has been really well done in regards to details and such. Some of the earlier figures had some issues with posing and such with the joints. But by and large, let's get this pulled out of here without wrecking anything, shall we? The figures themselves almost always had some really nice detail on them. Now here, we've got our tires. Apparently there was something with the tires that they had to go a certain way, but my son already put his together, and the patterns all go the same way, and it looks like the hubs are all the same. So But anyway, with the box out of there, you can see it's got the nice Cobra logo. You can stand your figure up here if you got a stand for it, so you can actually display it really nicely in that sense. So I'm just going to put that aside, because I'm going to probably use that as a way to display it. And here we've got our 4 tires. And they are a rubber plastic type thing, and as you can see, I can actually push down on them, so they do have a really nice tread, if you look at that there. All 4 of them. There's the hub, and then it's just an easy snap-in assembly for those. So we're going to just put those over there for now, out of the way, because we're going to look at the meat of this particular thing, and get the body of it out. I think that is, I don't think there's anything in there, is there? Let's get some of this other stuff open here. Nope, I don't think there's anything in there either, so I can use this later for some terrain building or something. That style of cardboard is actually a nice thickness for buildings and such for wargaming. That's a topic for another day, however. So let's get this out here, shall we? Ooh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Some very nice detail on this. No tape or glue on the plastic. It's just kind of a shrink wrap type thing. We're just going to toss that over there. So I'll show this a little closer. So you got some nice detail on the front there with tow hooks, a winch that actually comes out and can be wound back in. So that's really cool. Obviously, you don't really tow anything with this. Down the sides, we've got some nice detail on the sides here with the logos and things already on. Door pops up gull wing style. Some nice detail inside of there. In the seats. Put that back down. The mirror actually is reflective, so you can actually see there and whatnot on both sides. And you have the roof, which is open. I do believe there is a plate to go across that, but I'll be seeing that in a bit. Again, nice rear detail, tow hook, or the ability to tow, but it's got tail lights. Again, same details down the side. Door gull wing again. You look inside there, they've actually done some detail on the dash and some red and yellows, so you have displays and whatnot. This item does not light up or anything. So in that sense, it does not light up. It doesn't have any extras like that, but it never was meant to. It's a store shelf thing. It's not like a HasLab or anything like that. But by and large, yeah, it's actually a really, really nice update to one of the cooler vehicles of the era. So with that all said, let's start getting this puppy put together, shall we? So first thing, we'll open this up, because it's obvious some of the parts we're going to need. And as I can see as I'm looking at this now, it has the roof piece in here. And of course now they use tape, so it's a little difficult to get open. But we have what looks like an engine piece. Show that to you there. And that looks like, not sure where that's going to go, but it's a shovel. Basically, I guess if you get stuck, you can dig yourself out. And then there's another piece there. I think that's for the front push bar. And then we've got, oh, okay, here's all the equipment for the driver. So you have a pair of magazines, an assault rifle, I'm guessing some machine gun, pistol, a fire extinguisher, helmet, and such there. Here, I'll actually get my finger out of the way there. So you got his helmet and everything there. So he can be used as a full-on troop type unit as well. And then we have the roof piece, which by the looks of it just snaps in place there. So it's got some lights across the top and it just snaps in place. So yeah, that's some of those pieces. I'm gonna guess in here is the missiles and the, okay, so there's the missiles. Oh, is there something else still in here? Oh, there is. Haha, I missed a box. So Here we go. Cobra Knight attack driver for wheel drive. So let's see what's in here. This is probably blast effects and such. And sure enough, yep. So we have missile and blast effects, which we'll take a closer look at in a bit once I have this together. Some more blast effects. Oh, and the rear bumper, which allows you to put a couple more figures. They have pegs right in the middle there, so you can actually stand 2 figures on the back, which I may do. I'm not sure yet. I'm planning to use one other figure as a passenger, but otherwise. But one of the neat things they've done with, well, when they were doing the windowless packaging anyway, I don't think they're not continuing now that they've gone back to window packaging, is they give you basically what is like a weapon box inside the box that held all the equipment. So unfortunately, that's probably going to be something that goes away unless you get a vehicle of some kind. That said, you were getting it with the figures, but yeah, that's not going to be the case anymore, I don't think, now that the masses got their wish and got their windowed boxes back. Now there was an assembly. Oh, there it is. There we go. Here we go. So we have basically a simple instruction manual, how to put everything together. It's all pretty simple. So let's get started here. So first thing we're going to do is put the tires on. And they just snap on in place by the looks of it. There's those two. Flip around. And last but not least, the last one there. Alright, so there we go. It actually has a little bit of suspension play in there for you. Spring loaded. They're all freewheeling. They don't steer, but you know, it does allow you to drive it around, and if you hit things, it'll actually spring up like that. So that's easy enough for the tires. So next we'll do the bumper, which it looks like it just snaps in place on the front bar there. Like so. Okay, yeah, so you take a look there. It's nice and snapped in place there. What's next? Ah, yes, okay. So there is this piece which goes on top of the motor. If we can get it to snap in the right spot. There we go. There we go. That's not quite in there. Okay, hang on. Start on that side. There we go. There, that snaps in. So it gives you a little more motor detail right on top. And then we've got the back bumper, which looks like it just, how does that go in there now? Let's see here. Okay. Well, it just snaps right on. There we go. Nice and snug. So that's right on the back. You can see it, and you see the pegs on there. So you can get 2 figures on there. And then you've got the roof piece, which just snaps in on top. Gives you an enclosed vehicle. And then you got your missile launcher, which guessing goes like, oh, actually I would have thought it snapped on there a little better than that, but apparently not. But yeah, you got full motion here, and it will pivot up and down. So we'll get some missiles on there to dress it up here. You get your 4 missiles, and they're already marked XO4s, so they just snap on like so. I have the advantage of watching my son do his last night, so I kind of had an idea of how this is all going to go together. And then, yeah, we'll get a better look at the figure in that in a moment while I finish this off. And then we can take a look at some of the blast effects and such. There we go. There is your night attack, four-wheel drive night attack Jeep with missile launcher. That can pivot up like so, or turn that way, or turn the other way. That. So yeah, that's all together. It's a nice, an excellent, nice piece. Frankly, I think it's a very good price point. At GameStop was I want to say $124.99, $125.99 in that ballpark anyway. So yeah, altogether that looks like a really nice piece. And I'm really glad I got it. It's one of the few larger pieces I'm actually going to display somewhere. I'll figure that out in a bit. But let's get a better look at our driver, shall we? So we've got the driver. He's got this knife. We're going to put that aside for the moment. They got his arms tucked in there really well. They don't usually do that. So we're going to pop him out here. Get rid of that because I'm not going to have any use for that. The figures usually have a lot of good articulation. Like their heads move around pretty well. The necks back and forth. The arms kind of. Is he double jointed? Yes, he is, but he's got this thing's kind of in the way, so you can't really double joint the arm. But yeah, so he gets at least that much out of it. Oh, the other arm might actually go further, so let's try that one. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you don't get, there's some that get a little more, but you can see his arm is kind of double elbowed there. So, but they bend a little bit further. It's got the ab crunch as well as the hip swivel. The legs too, they're double jointed, so you can really bend the leg right up like that. And the feet are pretty good too in that sense. Hips let you put the legs straight out, and then you just have to kind of straighten and pop them back into place when necessary. Knife. The nice thing is most of these, they'll have holsters and things for everything. So his knife has a sheath. He's got a holster for his pistol. There's a couple of spots for the magazines, and then he's got a back holster for one of his weapons as well. I'm probably going to display him standing outside of his vehicle. You got your fire extinguisher, which I'll put aside with the shovel for now. Nope, drop that. So then we've got, there's the holster for, I think it's either a shotgun or something like that. But then he's got his rifle. Get a better look at that. And there's this one. And then he's got his pistol. Almost looks like a Han Solo pistol without the scope on it. Helmet, which I just dropped. And then 2 magazines for the shotgun and rifle, which he's got a place to put on his person. So that's good too. They're usually pretty good. Most of the figures in this line can actually store most of their stuff. There's occasionally an extra weapon or two, which gets problematic, especially if they're giving them like 3 rifles. There's only so much they can carry. They're still basically meant to be a person. So we can get rid of that. We'll get him put together here. And then, yeah, it looks like his head may be a little, there we go. So put his helmet on. The other nice thing they've done with the new line is they've updated it to be more 21st century. So some of the figures they're releasing are female, some are people of color, and so on and so forth in that sense. So in that sense, that's another nice update they've been doing to the line compared to the original toy line. So yeah, we need to get that. Oh, that okay. But anyway, so yeah, as one of the things they do to improve the line is by doing things like making it more representative of society. And can't complain if it represents people of society among itself. Now, they've done this more with the the Cobra troops and such than the... doesn't want to go into his holster. Interesting. It's been done more with the Cobra troop builders than it has with the Joes, because the Joes, obviously, are named characters, not generic troop builders. Like in this case, you have the Stinger driver, so they made him a person of color. The rider for the Ferret, basically a quad ATV, is female. I think they're putting a female with the Claw as well, but there was a 3 Viper pack. It had a person of color and Caucasian. So they are trying to make these things more, again, representative of people in society, right? So that should fit back there without much of a problem. Does that one go in there? That one will go in the rifle. Which is always a good thing in my opinion, because the people buying the line, you know, most people like to see themselves reflected in the properties they collect and or play with, as the case may be, especially kids. Now, many people will say, yeah, isn't this line a little expensive for kids? Maybe this vehicle is. Figures themselves run $25 to $35, and in 2024, that's kind of normal, so whether it's kids or not, it's really irrelevant. Now, the only thing with some of these, there we go, it's sometimes awkward to get the finger into the trigger area, because just, you know, how mass production toys can be. So I'll get that. There we go. So there we go. Get that right. Probably, that should be close enough. Anyway, so yeah. So we got him holding his rifle. He's got his other weapon on his back. So I'll show you back first. There you go. It's nice in its sheath. His pistol's in its holster. He's holding his rifle. So yeah. So we have him all together. And I'll put him next to... Oh, it's not quite in there, is it? Oh, it's probably not lined up with his back, that's all. There we go. Get that right in there, nice. There we go. But yeah, so if I want to put him in it, obviously I got to find somewhere to put the weapons. Otherwise, the figure's actually nicely detailed again. Like I said, I'll show him again. He's got some nice web gear on there. There's detail on actually his outfit and stuff, which is actually really good. Excuse me. And that'll look really good. I'll take some, I may add some pictures at the end of the video to just cycle through, but we'll deal with that shortly. Now we got some blast effects. Some of these are to go on the table or as you want to do, because they're meant to basically look like the explosions, as you can see. So those are some of those. There's a couple of launch effects, which had a known issue of they kind of painted the wrong section. So I'll get a missile off of here and show you what I mean. There we go. So it just slides into the back, and then you just hold it like that. Now, generally, however, you would have the thrust behind the missile, not the smoke. So really, it should have been done more like this. But it still looks pretty good. It's still neat to have an effect like that, so that, yeah, it looks like it's launching the missile off, right? So there's two of them for these, of different size, so different missile launching. Then there's some other blast effects over here, which are more of the ground blast. We got a couple of these with so you can see, like, it's like an explosion of different sizes and such as well. But along with those, there was another figure called Scrap Iron who came with a drone missile launcher, treaded missile launcher. It came with similar blast effects. So if you actually want to do some dioramas and stuff, those are really cool. So you can have like a Joe on the ground injured with blasts going off around him, while at the other end of the table you can show them launching a missile and things along those lines. So it actually works really well in that sense. All in all, though, I think that's about it. Because we saw the weapons, we saw this and that. So again, we have the Cobra Stinger. I'm going to put the missile launcher back on because I had to pull the missile off here. The 4-wheel drive night attack Jeep for 6-inch scale classified, and I really like this. I'm so glad I have it. It's such a great piece to me. I was always a Cobra Empire Decepticon guy because I just like the aesthetics. Not that I like that they were evil. I just like the aesthetics. They seem to get a lot of the cooler stuff because they were bad guys, right? That always seems to be the case. But all in all, excellent piece. Everything went together nice and simple. Everything looks pretty sturdy and whatnot. And yeah, if you can and you can afford it, I say grab that piece because it's definitely worth putting on the table. It's not oversized. It's just, as you can see, it's only about a foot long, maybe about 9 or 10 inches wide. It doesn't take a huge footprint on a shelf or anything, and you can put the figures in it or around it. It'll look really good, and you know that's the thing is it'll look good on the shelf, and I'm really impressed with it. It's a nice piece, in the size, and it gives you lots of really good detail and such too. So, but other than that, I may take some pictures to add at the end of the video before we end this episode. But yeah, other than that, it's a really good piece. It's detailed, really well designed in my opinion. It is a derivative of the G.I. Joe Vamp, which came out I think earlier this year, but I always preferred this. I even preferred the Vamp Mark II because it had the doors, or it had the roof piece and a missile launcher and some other added little knickknacks on it that the original Vamp didn't have. And again, you can't go back wrong. It's black and gray. It's a night Jeep, right? And with missile launchers and the Cobra troops and everything else, it's meant to inspire some fear in its opponents and such. So, but that'll be it for this episode. I'm hoping to get back on track of monthly episodes and some bonus content from my podcast, Games According to James. But other than that, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Leave comments as usual. Keeping in mind, I don't do this really other than to entertain myself and anybody who watch. So I really don't have a studio or anything, and I kind of just do everything off the cuff, if you couldn't tell. So have a great day, and take care of each other. Cheers.